Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Jason Garish. Got a lot of stuff going on in the wrestling world. Another good episode of Raw last week. Obviously, you can see Triple H's fingerprints all over the show. A lot of things to like about it. I mean, we had that confrontation between Drew McIntyre and Owens, and that was Kevin Owens. That was well done. I enjoy seeing McIntyre's response. Good talking piece between the two. Good match. I liked the quote from Drew McIntyre, "We're wrestlers in a wrestling ring," etc. It tells me that they've thrown away the sports entertainer garbage, and that kind of takes away some ammo from Chris Jericho's faction, kind of too, in AEW, which is kind of wild. But yeah, it was a good matchup between those two guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. You know, we had Judgment Day beat down Rey Mysterio. Damien Priest challenges Edge to a match. I'm looking forward to that. I'd still want to see Damien Priest as the leader of Judgment Day. I think he deserves it, and I think he's a better talker than Finn Balor, so I'd like to see that. I like the fact that they gave him the mic this week. That was really good. But I hope they continue to do so, and maybe eventually he'll turn on Balor, and they can introduce some more people into the fold. I don't know. But it was good seeing that. You know, I like the at one point during this, Rhea Ripley delivered a traditional DDT that looked like straight out of the book from Jake the Snake Roberts, and it looked great. I like seeing that as opposed to these tornado DDTs that just look stupid. People flipping and flying around the ring. This looked like it could hurt somebody. I commend her for doing a great job on that. You know, a lot of stuff, like I said, a lot of stuff happened. One other thing that really impressed me was the Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles match. That was one of the better matches I've seen Lashley do. That was very good. You know, but then again, AJ Styles can get a good match out of anybody. But Lashley's really hot as a babyface, and I like where they're taking the whole direction of the USA title, because it seems like they're turning it into almost like a television title, which is awesome to me. I love the idea of television titles where they're defended, you know, frequently on television, as opposed to, and then leave the heavyweight championship titles for the pay-per-views. I think that's great, and I hope they continue with this. It's an excellent strategy, and I hope they continue to do it. You know, once again, you know, Theory and Ziggler put on a great match, have great chemistry together. That's kind of obvious why they put those two together, you know, with Theory defeating Ziggler to build Theory up even better. And you know, Ziggler sells like no one else, so having him in there just makes Theory, I think, look like a much bigger star than he is. And they're doing a good job with that kid, and I hope they continue to do it. You know, but I don't know if I mentioned before, obviously Bobby Lashley defeated AJ Styles, and retained the belt. So good deal there. Let's see what else we got as far as as I said, most of it was kind of setting up for the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view and all that. So yeah, I mean, Raw, once again, like I said, showing some more fingerprints from Triple H. They've got a lot of things to kind of undo from the previous regime. So don't expect everything overnight, you know, to occur. I mean, they're making some great strides, but nothing is going to happen overnight. Triple H has a lot of stuff to kind of undo from Vince's horrible creativity in the past, and that's That's not necessarily knock. I mean, it is a knock on Vince, and it isn't. I mean, the guy is a wrestling genius, but towards the end of his career, it's just things not working out. He obviously didn't have his pulse on the his finger, I should say, on the pulse of the American zeitgeist, kind of, because this booking is much better. It's gonna get much tighter. It's gonna be much more, I think, much more NXT like, So that's I'm looking forward to. I don't remember. Was it this week or last week that we had the appearance from Dexter Lumis, and that was an awesome surprise. And once there was just not really sure where they're going with that, who he's going to align with, if anybody. But that's really happy to see that they signed him back, because I think he has a lot to contribute. He can do a lot in the main roster. So it's good to see him back. And in addition to that, they had Fatal Attraction come up for the women's tournament on SmackDown. So you're seeing, once again, like I said, you're seeing more and more of Triple H's fingerprints all over things. But as far as AEW goes, Dynamite, good show this week. I didn't get to see Rampage, but Dynamite was a really, really good show this week. Let's start things off talking about the CM Punk promo. Great promo, I should say. Yeah, I don't know what a promo is, but great promo from CM Punk, and good exchange from Moxley. CM Punk has caught a lot of heat online for going off script and kind of calling out Hangman Page. I think it's kind of obvious that there is some backstage heat between the two of those guys, because it looked like Page kind of went off script in their previous kind of pull apart, their previous confrontations. So I think there's some legitimate heat between those two. It's something I don't know if I really want to see Punk do that in a public forum like he did. It kind of looks Page look foolish, makes Page look foolish, but I'm so torn on this, because I am a fan of Page, but there's been a lot of talk about how he doesn't like to take any type of advice or anything from the veterans, and that's, to me, that's a big no. I'd really like to see him kind of put that aside and progress, because I think he can be a real cornerstone of this company if he gets his act together. And I like his character, I like him. I really like his wrestling style. I think he's great in the ring. It's kind of a hybrid mix of technical and brawling style, which I think fits that character and works out great. Which lately I'm not even sure what his character is anymore. So they need to reestablish that and start working on that. But it looks like CM Punk did kind of go off script, which is one of the great things you will see about AEW, is they don't script things ahead of time. They don't make people kind of go out there and read prompted scripts. They don't make them go out and read pre-written scripts. That's one of the beautiful things about AEW. It's one of the detriments of AEW, because now you've got bad blood between two of the wrestlers, and it's coming out in the open now, and it's could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Anytime you see Punk shoot, it's always great. It comes out great, but is it going in business for himself, or is it actually helping the company? I don't know. A lot of people kind of commented on that and say, well, it's a good thing. Been calling him a few different names and saying it's a good thing that this is the reason why, I should say, WWE got rid of him. But I guess only future is going to tell. But yeah, I don't like where kind of this is going. If he does retain the belt against Moxley, which I think he will, I think he will, when they solidify that interim and the AEW championship, they should reinvestigate and kind of redo maybe this feud between Hangman and Punk then, if they can work together. Hopefully they can, but I'd like to see that then, build this up. And because the last confrontation between them verbally, it looked almost like Hangman didn't know what to do and kind of went off script on his own. So he really didn't address the things that Punk had said, and it got real weird. So that makes me think that there is legitimate heat between these two guys, and I hope they straighten that out, because that could be, if they let it be and if they do it the right way, it could be a good feud. And I'm wondering if it was probably Punk's worst feud since he got there, and that was where he won the championship. And a lot of that probably falls on the shoulders of Hangman, unfortunately. So hopefully he kind of straightens that out and gets his act together. I know when Moxley came out, there was some criticism with Moxley's promo. I didn't find anything wrong with it. That's Moxley's character. I know Jim Cornette had some very harsh words to say about his promo facing against Punk. Had some really good things to say about Punk's promo. No real surprise there, but I enjoyed Moxley's promo. I thought it was good, and I thought it addressed everything it needed to address. And because, like I said, Cornette kind of likened him to an indie wrestler going out there and being shown up by a seasoned veteran. And no, I don't think that at all. It's just Moxley's style, and I have no issue with it. He still looked much better than the exchange that Page and Punk had. He didn't look lost. He didn't look like he couldn't think on his feet. He responded within character to Punk, and I thought he did a good job. So, I'm not going to criticize him at all for that. The whole night through, we had the House of Dragon tie-in, the whole theme. I thought it looked great. The graphics looked great. The whole tie-in looked great. I saw some of the promo shots with the throne and whatnot. It looked awesome. And then they brought on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who looks great. As a special timekeeper for the night, and he looked awesome. So, and to see one of my childhood idols in there was awesome too, because I like Steamboat a lot. I'm still not keen on Jericho still using the Judas entrance, because it gets a babyface pop, and he's smart enough to know that shouldn't be what he's doing. It's counteractive and counterintuitive to what he's doing with the whole Jericho Appreciation Society, and I think he should change his music up in order to go along with that. I get it, the fans are singing along to it, but you're saying a mixed message, and I don't like where it goes. I do like Daniel Garcia being dubbed the Dragon Slayer, especially when he beat the American Dragon, Brian Danielson. I should almost say, wow, almost mixed that up. But I like how are labeling that. That's a good moniker for him to take up. They had a little, once again, another reference to Jake the Snake. Kind of, I'm beginning to wonder what's going on. I hope he's okay. But they did this right in front of Steamboat, where Garcia took off the padding to the concrete underneath and DDT'd Bryan Danielson to the concrete, which is an obvious reference to the injury sustained from Jake the Snake Roberts to Ricky Dragon Steamboat in their classic match, when he did the same to Steamboat, and unfortunately that ended with a legitimate injury, but that was a nice little nod. Thankfully they did it safely, and no one got hurt, obviously. I like how the match ended, though, because those of you that don't know, Gene LaBelle recently died, and I liked how they ended it with. It was only fitting that they ended it with the LaBelle lock. I know that Bryan Danielson's a huge fan of his, and every wrestling fan should be a huge fan of his. Those of you that don't know Judo Gene LaBelle, he was a legitimate shoot fighter, kind of one of the guys who helped, in some ways, bring about kind of MMA. He was also a wrestler. He did some very very influential things within the wrestling community, and doesn't get the respect that he deserves. He really should be looked at as an icon. I see Bryan Danielson using a lot of his moves, and like I said, the LeBell Lock, is one that Bryan Danielson likes to use a lot. But once again, a legitimate tough guy, legitimate martial artist who was a stunt man. At one point, worked with Bruce Lee, and they kind of called him on to kind of help teach Bruce Lee a lot of the stunt oriented stuff, because unfortunately he had a habit of hurting some of the stuntmen when he was LeBell was called on to the side of the Green Hornet when Bruce Lee was on that as Kato, and he was kind of brought on to help, let's just say, help Bruce Lee assimilate to shooting some of the scenes where he would work with the stuntmen, not injure anybody. So I guess what apparently would happen was, and at one point Gene kind of picked him up and subdued him. So as to kind of teach him a lesson, which really kind of enraged Bruce Lee, from what I understand, led him to pursue more grappling techniques and incorporate that into Jeet Kune Do. If you've ever looked at Bruce Lee's, like if you've studied the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, he incorporates jiu-jitsu, judo, boxing. He was actually a boxer, believe it or not, at one point in time. Bruce Lee was, I think he boxed in like one match and had excellent footwork. But some of the people that inspired him, one of which, people like Muhammad Ali and whatnot, he incorporated that into his fighting style. He incorporated that into Jeet Kune Do. Jeet Kune Do is not really a formalized martial art per se, as say like Taekwondo or Jiu-Jitsu or any of those. It's more of kind of a free-flowing, add what you will kind of mentality and philosophy. There's not a belt system or any of that type of thing. But he did kind of compose that and put that into work. And I don't think he ever formally trained with boxing or with judo or jiu-jitsu, but he did incorporate elements of grappling and all of that into Jeet Kune Do. That's why I kind of point at Bruce Lee as one of the founders of mixed martial arts, because his Jeet Kune Do infused all those different styles, kicking, karate. Helping, obviously sparring with people like Chuck Norris at the time too influenced that, because Norris had those solid karate foundation, Taekwondo, so you learned a lot of those high kicks from him and whatnot, and incorporated that, and really used a lot of what he learned. But one of the people that was very influential on him was, Gene LeBell, because of that incident where he was he kind of learned his lesson real quickly there on the set, and like I said, they brought Gene in because he was a seasoned stuntman to kind of show him the ropes and get him to throttle things back a little bit, because he was injuring a number of stuntmen on the set and whatnot. So and I think they actually might have even tried to incorporate that in. He was the inspiration for Cliff Booth, the Brad Pitt character in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Tarantino disputes the claim, but I call bullshit. Sorry, it is. He's the one who kind of taught Bruce the lesson, and obviously he is the inspiration behind that. So Tarantino can deny it all he wants, but he's lying. Because, like I said, once again, Gene, one of the most underrated individuals, and his name needs to get out there more. Gene LeBell, if you can, do a Google search on him, because he was so important to wrestling, to combat sports. He ran the Los Angeles territory in NWA, Hollywood Wrestling. He ran that out in Los Angeles. So he, like I said, he even refereed the boxing versus wrestling match between Muhammad Ali and Antonio Inoki. Yeah, like I said, really just there's someone that needs a lot more respect and a lot more recognition, because seeing as how both MMA and wrestling are so gigantic now, there's a man that more people should be aware of. And please, if you go out there and do your research and learn about him. He died on the 9th of August, unfortunately, and deserves our respect and deserves recognition. And I thought it was only fitting that Bryan Danielson would end that match between himself and Daniel Garcia with the lapel lock. Kudos to him. He's a true student of the game, and that was a beautiful tribute. And that hopefully a lot of people got. I hope, obviously, more informed marks out there got it, but that's someone who needs to be recognized more. The guy was so important to so many sports on so many different levels, and he deserves our respect, our recognition, and rest in peace, Gene LeBell. Got a little bit off topic there, or did I? I don't know. But after this match, they kind of hinted at more dissension between Daniel Garcia and Chris Jericho. I think this is going to lead to him eventually coming over to the Blackpool Combat Club. I really do. I think that I know he was the original choice that they wanted in the club, and I think he's going to come over eventually. And I think that then, because he really hasn't fit in a whole lot with the whole Jericho appreciation thing, and I think he fits in a lot more with the Blackpool Combat Club. So, and like I said, he was the original choice. I think eventually he's going to go over there. A lot of stuff happened, obviously, on this episode. Gun Club turned on their father, Billy Gunn, with the Acclaim coming to the rescue. A lot of people are upset because they beat the Varsity Blondes very quickly. This was pretty much a squash match. They were just getting the Gun Club out there to basically have this turn on their father and have the Acclaim for the save. So Billy Gunn is now aligned with the Acclaim. I don't like how they handled the match itself. I mean, the outcome with them turning everything was cool, but with the Acclaim coming out for the save, Acclaim gets a big pop. They're doing a great job, but the handling of the Varsity Blondes was horrible. I know, at least Brian Pillman Jr. didn't eat the pin. That's the only thing I can really say. I don't know if they're gonna release. I can't remember the gentleman's name that's in, but that's a possibility. Maybe have Pillman go out on his own, maybe break away from there. If they do, great. But I don't like the way they handled that match. They have a plethora of tag teams they could have thrown out there and fed to the Gun Club and done the same exact effect. And the fact that they sacrificed the Varsity Blondes, that really upsets me. But it is what it is. They got the storyline afterwards, which was the important thing. But I hope they right that wrong there with the Varsity Blondes. And of course, I can't go on without saying the main event match, obviously, with Kenny Omega returning as the Young Bucks' third partner. Yeah, a lot of people kind of talked about the possibility of Hangman coming on and then being the Hung Bucks as they were in New Japan, all that crap. I think this is better. I like this a lot better. I don't know what Kenny Omega can do. He did not look very good in the ring. He did and he didn't. He looked like he was hurting. I mean, he still executed a lot of moves. He still did a great job. Still still was able to sell things, still was able to... ring psychology was very good, which is not something he's generally known for. I think it's something, though, he's going to have to develop if he plans on continuing as a wrestler, because he's got so many injuries right now. And it showed. It showed. Like I said, he was still able to perform. He was still able to put on a great show. After the show went off the air, delivered a really heartfelt, really good promo to the crowd. And it was nice to see it from Kenny Omega, because you don't get that side of Kenny Omega a whole lot. And that was really cool to see. So if you get opportunity, look that up on YouTube, because he addressed the crowd right after the show went off the air, and did a really compelling promo, really nice promo. Hopefully he gets better. Hopefully he physically gets better, and we'll see more of him. It makes sense, though, that he would be in a 3-man type situation right now, because that utilizes him where he doesn't have to spend that much time in the ring. It was weird seeing him in a shirt with a cast, not a cast, but almost like a sling type. That was bizarre. It's like, what are the extent of his injuries right now? I mean, he's been bouncing around doing these spot fests for so long. His body has been beaten up, and this is kind of where we get into, people criticize the WWE style of wrestling, but you don't see guys like this at Omega's age this beat up, and that's a lot of that is from the strong style and his previous style, where a lot of his matches were spot fests that kind of lacked psychology. So I just hope that he doesn't develop that and realize that too late, because he is a good wrestler. I mean, draws a lot of criticism from people. He's kind of a magnet for criticism in certain respects, but the guy is wicked talented, and I don't want to see his career ended short like that, and hopefully he learns from it, and hopefully there's enough time for him to heal his body and get back into ring shape. But hey, on that note, like I said, I didn't get a chance to see Rampage this week, unfortunately, but looking forward to Raw tonight. See what else Triple H kind of steers the boat. See where he steers the boat, I should say, and see how this whole storyline and everything they got going on kind of progress. So I think you're going to see kind of the dissolution of a lot of the old regime, and you are seeing it, because you're seeing, like, I saw can't remember if it was SmackDown or if it was Raw, but we saw the Viking Raiders taking a different turn. They had a vignette based on them, and that involved wow, I cannot remember her name. That's killing me. But the one of the female wrestlers that was released that's married to one of the Viking warriors, that's gonna drive me up a wall. I'm gonna have to look that up. Wow. But she was in Logan. Wow, is it Sarah Logan? Wow. But we saw her in the vignette, which is interesting. Does this mean that Triple H is going to rehire her? So that's a little interesting turn, but it'll be interesting to see what they rebrand themselves as, because they are a good team. Just, man, they got saddled with a horrible gimmick, and we'll see where they go with that. I think that's going to be a good thing to watch. No real sign of Karrion Kross. That's kind of disappointing, man. I'm hoping they bring him back again very, very soon. I want to see them prolong this feud with Reigns and whatnot. And involvement right out of the bat with the titles is awesome. So we'll see where this goes. I'm happy about that. But hey, that's kind of all I got right now. So thank you for tuning in. Like I said, thank you so much for tuning in. Give a shout out to Lucky Lady Candles. Check them out on Facebook and Etsy. Another shout out to Then and Now Flea Market. I had a great time at their 1-year anniversary. check out. I got a video online of that, and check them out if you're in the Trenton, Tennessee area. Check them out. You can buy my CDs. You can buy some handmade goods by my wife, and a variety of other vendors too. You can buy almost anything there. Then and Now Flea Market in Trenton. Check my wife out, Hooked by Jenna Lynn, on Facebook. Also, check out Peggy's Attic in Milan. Once again, you can get my CDs there. You can get a variety of different handmade goods from my wife there, and get a lot of stuff from a variety of different vendors, from local vendors who would love to have your support, and help them out, So Peggy's Attic in Milan, Tennessee. Check out Crushing Kayfabe. Check us out, crushingkayfabe.com. Crushing with a K. And while you're at it, check us out on Patreon. Become a patron. It's only $1 a month. You can get the show ad-free, and you can help keep the lights on, help me keep producing content. So that's patreon.com. Do search for Crushing Kayfabe, Crushing with a K. And, while you're at it, send your prayers and thoughts out to the Ukrainian people. And there are plenty of legitimate organizations that you can send aid through, like the Red Cross, like UNICEF, etc. So they're still going through hell right now. So have them in your thoughts and prayers, and send some supplies too. So help them out. Once again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and God bless everyone. Thank you so much.